Some of y'all keep blaming yourselves for not growing. When the truth is, you've been planted in survival your entire life. You've been trying to bloom in rooms that only knew how to shrink you. And after a while, you stopped asking, is this environment healthy for me? And started asking, what's wrong with me? Y'all, that's the dangerous part because environments don't just influence you. Eventually, they introduce you to a version of yourself you no longer recognize. And some of us became strangers to ourselves. Meanwhile, just trying to survive the room. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Shou Talks. This is a house where we stop performing healing and actually start doing the work. Every room inside this house represents a part of human experience, identity, conditioning, awareness, discipline, legacy. And lately, we've been diving deeper into the subrooms because, as I always say, life is layered. Healing is layered. Growth, all of these are layered. And today, we're walking into the environment room. Now, for those of you who are joining for the first time, Shou Talks is a house that's not about perfection. It's about awareness, about walking room by room through parts of yourself you were forced to survive in, the parts you abandoned, and the parts still waiting to be rebuilt. But some rooms taught you discipline, some taught you fear, some taught you love, some taught you performance. But every room shaped something. And if you're willing to look honestly, you can finally decide what deserves to stay in your house and what never belonged there in the first place. Today's room is one people underestimate all the time because people love saying things like, just stay focused, just be stronger, just ignore it. But environment matters. Your environment, it affects your nervous system, your habits, your confidence, your identity. It, ex- it affects your expectations, your emotional safety, your ability to rest and dream. Environment is not just where you live, it's who surrounds you, what normalized around you, what constantly spoke over you, what you're exposed to daily, what your body has adapted to survive. And a lot of people don't realize they've adapted to dysfunction so deeply that peace feels unfamiliar. The environment room is about recognizing the spaces that shaped you, not physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. This room asks, what have I been surrounded by long enough that it started feeling normal? Because normalization is powerful. If chaos is normal, you stop noticing it. If we normalize criticism, You stop noticing emotional damage. If instability is normal, you start calling survival skills personality traits. And this is where a lot of people get stuck because they think this is just who I am. No, sometimes that's just who your environment required you to become. I remember being in seasons of my life where I constantly felt tense, even during the good moments. I couldn't relax fully, couldn't trust peace fully, couldn't stop anticipating problems. And I used to think, maybe I'm just anxious. But eventually I realized my body had adapted to environments where I always had to be alert, always prepared, always carrying something, always managing emotions, always fixing problems. So even when life got calmer, my nervous system still thought danger was coming. And that's what environments do. They train your body before they train your mind. Environments shape identity faster than motivation. People talk about motivation way too much. Environment is stronger than motivation most days because eventually you become what's consistently reinforced around you. If everybody around you normalizes self neglect, chaos, gossip, emotional immaturity, inconsistency, dysfunction, you start adapting to survive it. And adaptation is sneaky. You don't even realize it's happening at first. This one is hard because some environments reward your brokenness. Some environments only accept you when you abandon yourself. Some people only celebrate the overgiving version of you, the exhausted version of you, the silent version of you, the shrinking version of you. And when you start healing, they call you different because your dysfunction used to benefit the room. Some people liked you more when you had no boundary. You guys, peace requires different conditions. You cannot heal in environments that constantly trigger survival mode. And I know people hate hearing that because it sounds inconvenient, but it's true. Some growth requires distance, stillness, support, structure, safety, honesty, accountability. Y'all, you can't keep planning yourself in emotional chaos, then wondering why your spirit feels exhausted. There were seasons where I outgrew environments before I even had the courage to leave them. And that's a painful place to be because your spirit starts to feel cramped. You start noticing conversations differently, patterns differently, energy differently. Things that used to feel normal start feeling heavy. And sometimes the hardest part isn't leaving, it's accepting that you can't grow in spaces committed to staying the same. I want you to sit with these honestly. What environments have shaped the way you see yourself? What behaviors have normalized simply because you've been surrounded by them for too long? What parts of yourself feel different depending on the room you're in? And be honest with yourself about this one. Are you growing or are you surviving efficiently? Here's what this looks like in real life. Sometimes changing your environment starts small. It might mean changing your routines, protecting your mornings, consuming different content, spending less time around draining people, joining healthier communities, organizing your space, resting without guilt, finally setting boundaries. And no, you may not be able to change every environment immediately, but you can stop pretending harmful environments don't affect you. That's where change starts. Honesty, not shame, not blame, awareness. The environment room teaches you something powerful. You were never weak for struggling in unhealthy spaces. Some of you were adapting the best way you knew how, but adaptation is not destiny. You're allowed to create new conditions for your life, new patterns, new standards, new relationships, new emotional climates. You are allowed to become someone your old environment would no longer recognize. And honestly, that may be the clearest sign you're finally hearing. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who's been trying to heal while surviving environments that keep pulling them backwards. Make sure you follow, subscribe, and join us every week as we continue walking room by room. Because this house, we're building it together. As always, protect your peace, honor your growth, and keep building your house. I'll see you in the next room.